Welcome back to another episode of Thinking That Matters. I'm Elizabeth Mahusai, your podcast host, and today I get the privilege of interviewing Miss Wanda Johnson, and she and I had the privilege, or have the privilege, of being in the Leadership McKinney class of 2025.
Greatest
class ever. So I am just thrilled for you to be able to get to know her and the richness of her story. So Wanda, give us the short commercial on who you are, what you do, so that we can dive in.
Yes, my name is Wanda Johnson, and I currently work as the District Truancy Liaison for McKinney ISD.
Okay.
And I've been in this role for 4 years, but I've been with McKinney ISD since 2011.
Wow.
And I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. During the 70s, yes, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 grew up on the other side of town.
Really?
Yes.
How cool is that?
So cool. So we went through, we have all the albums. My brothers used to go to their little concerts in Gary. I couldn't go because I was the same age as Michael.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
So,
that is
yeah.
amazing. Do you have any pictures with him?
I do not, unfortunately.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I know, but
wow,
I
I didn't realize
Yes.
that. That is so cool.
Yes.
Very, very fun. So
Yes.
you are a truancy officer for McKinney ISD. Tell us what your focus is in that role.
So my focus is the students that are chronically absent in McKinney ISD, and this is from preschool to elementary to middle school to high school, the entire district. Okay. The assistant principals are responsible for identifying those children, and then they send their information to central office. Once we get that information, we bring those kids and their parents into central office for what's called a truancy hearing.
Okay.
And this is a step that the courts asked us to do, an intervention measure, because they were so full during COVID that they asked the schools to do an intervention measure.
Okay, because it was so difficult they couldn't get through probably the number of people.
Correct.
Where that's concerned. Okay.
Right.
So most people might be thinking, what makes you passionate about the role that you're in? So share a little bit about the passion that you bring to this position for McKinney ISD.
The passion comes from, I started as a campus liaison at 2 of the middle schools here in McKinney, and I was hired to help the homeless children and the underserved community in McKinney ISD.
Wow, okay.
And when I say help them, I had an office where the kids knew they could come see me if they needed anything, clothes, shoes, deodorant,
right.
Just to talk about their personal situations or their home life. I was there to help them. And when I say help, my help came from people in the community. So I had to find nonprofits and people that wanted to help these underserved children.
Wow. You know, when you think about what you're passionate about, right? I love how you were sharing with me about the passion that you bring to helping these young people do what?
Be successful and just be able to think outside the box, okay? Everyone is a product of their environment. You know, I grew up in kind of a tough area, you know, in Gary, where we had to learn how to basically have thick skin and overcome barriers ourselves. And just growing up, and then exposing me seeing other things outside of Gary by going to college at Purdue. That introduced me to a whole nother level of understanding. So that exposure, I understand, is important for kids to be able to see. And what helped me also was meeting people in the community that wanted to mentor these kids. And then I became very passionate about it because when I moved to McKinney, I lived inside a box. I did not know that we had underserved kids. I knew that we had a Samaritan Inn that housed,
Right,
you
the
know, the homeless.
yes.
But I never really thought these kids have to go to school somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I got the job, it opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I became just passionate about helping these kids and these families.
Yes, that. Okay, so back up.
Yes.
You're growing up in Gary,
Yes.
and in a sense, we all, wherever it is that we're growing up, we're kind of in a bubble there, right?
Yes.
Be it good, bad, challenging, whatever the case is. What made you go to Purdue?
Well, my parents told us that we had to stay in Indiana and go to an Indiana school.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So that was unless we got a full scholarship.
Okay.
So my middle school teacher had a program at Purdue where he took in about 20 kids from Indiana that were top of their class. And he brought us on to Purdue. As soon as we graduated from high school, 4 days later, I was at Purdue in a program that exposed us to management and business. And that's how I got to Purdue.
Wow, that is so, what a blessing.
Yes.
Isn't it interesting how we're going to stick on this high school for a moment. Like a high school teacher can have such an impact
Yes.
on a high schooler.
Exactly.
Oh my word. What was his name?
Dr. Bell, Cornell Bell. And
Wow.
he has a wing at Purdue University now, named in his honor.
That is so amazing. I have my own high school teacher that was so pivotal. His name is Mr. Waters.
Okay.
So pivotal in my development. I love that. So what did you major in at Purdue?
In marketing.
In marketing. Okay, got it. And so after you left Purdue, you were in Fortune 500 companies. Tell me a little bit about that.
So my first job, I was a salesperson for Eastman Kodak. Okay. And I sold their copier.
Nice.
And the competition was Xerox.
I was going to say, well, we know how that landed.
Yes. So I stayed there for 18 months because that was just not my cup of tea when you have the biggest competitor and people didn't know Kodak made copiers at the time.
Yeah.
So
When
that was a
I
tough
hear
job.
Kodak, all I think of is film for cameras, right?
Exactly. So I left there and I started a sales job at Dow Chemical. Stayed there about 6 or 7 years and then started working for Motorola.
Okay.
Okay. And I was there when they brought in the first cell phone. So they gave all of the employees this big brick, I call it, of a cell phone.
That's
this is back
because
in the 80s.
that's what it was.
That's what it was.
It was a big brick. Oh,
Exactly.
my word.
So basically used it. I had put it under my seat in the car, and it was a weapon for me if I needed it because it was heavy. Yes.
I can. Okay. First of all, I'm kind of chuckling because we're dating ourselves, right, with the Motorola brick phones, as we're calling them. I remember my mother first coming home with a brick phone, as I like to call it. And it has the handle and you're like carrying it around.
Yes.
I mean, that brings back such.
I'm aging myself.
That
yes.
I know, that brings back such memories.
Yes.
So I'm curious, because I want to get to how you got to ultimately in the truancy spot. But while you were in sales, because a lot of the people that are going to watch or listen, they're either in sales, they're managing sales, they own a business, which requires sales of some kind, even if it's selling oneself.
Right.
What were some of the things that you found? Maybe if you could identify one or two limiting beliefs that you ultimately had to recognize and then overcome to be successful.
I had to overcome the feeling of being rejected, okay, because that's something that I wasn't used to. Going to Purdue, left Purdue after about 3 years. I rushed myself out of Purdue, went during the summers because my parents had 3 kids in college at the same time.
Wow.
So I pretty much tried to finish as soon as I could. So once I finished Purdue and got through that, tell me again your question
I
one more
was
time?
asking, like, what limiting beliefs did you identify? Man, I've got to overcome this to be successful in it.
I was a little shy when I got hired at Kodak. And I didn't talk a whole lot to people. I walked with my head down, even though I was confident on the inside. When I got into sales, I was forced to do cold calling, knock on businesses. I had never met these people. They had never seen me. I had to overcome being shy. I had to overcome being rejected. And I had to realize they're not rejecting me, they're rejecting this product that they don't necessarily need at this time.
Yes.
So I had to overcome, this is not about me. Don't take it personally.
So good.
Yeah, they just don't need this product at this particular time.
Well, I'm just thinking too that, whether the person listening is in sales or not, that is a valuable principle.
Correct.
Right? We overcome the limiting belief of I don't want to be rejected with they're not rejecting me. They're rejecting the product or the service that I'm selling or the idea that I'm conveying.
Yes.
Or whatever that looks like. I mean, it's just a valuable principle upon which we can live our life. So you went through with some of your Fortune 500 experience, and then you went into having children.
I went into having children. I met my husband downtown Chicago when I was working at Motorola. He was from Texas, went to SMU, played football, and we met downtown in Chicago on a weekend, hanging out in a club. Okay.
Dancing.
And dancing the night away. And we talked, and I realized he had to come back to Texas in the next couple of days. So we saw each other a couple of times and kept in contact over the phone. And within 4 months, he proposed.
Wow.
Yes, he proposed, and he said, "Do you want me to move to Chicago or you want to move to Texas?" Well, I was ready to get out of the cold weather, so that was an easy
Amen
question.
to that.
So I moved to Texas, and that was in 1989.
Wow.
Yes. And then fast forward, I had a miscarriage after the first 4 months,
Okay.
which was a struggle. And I had a great doctor who told me to try again after a couple of months. I did, and I was blessed with twin boys. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And then
And
fast forward,
then 2 years
2 years
later,
later, I had twin girls.
unbelievable.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I just want to acknowledge my first miscarriage was at 14 weeks.
Really?
So I just, so hard,
Yes.
so hard. And I
Yes.
was grateful for the doctor saying, try again. Try
Yes.
again. Okay, but back to twin boys.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your twin boys are 2, you have twin girls.
Yeah, they were actually less than 2 because the twin girls were born exactly to the month of April. So I had twin girls. So I have 2 sets of twins, all born in the month of April.
That's
2 years apart.
that is somewhat mind-boggling. Okay,
Yes.
not gonna lie. I'm just because really, all I can think of is you have 4 children, 2 and under.
That I had to
At one
potty
time.
train. I had
Yes.
to-
At one time.
At
Okay,
one
so
time.
so let's speak to that because
Yes.
that is not easy.
No.
Right. I remember having a 2-year-old because our boys are 2 years, 1 week apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and I mean, just 2 of them was a challenge.
Yes.
So, what were some things that you learned about yourself being a mom to 4 babies
Yeah.
in such a short period of time?
You learn that you just have to do it. You don't have a choice. And you become stronger in that you realize I can do this. These babies are depending on me. I didn't have sick days. Even if I was sick, I could not be sick. You know,
Yeah, so
I
you can
still had
take
to,
off being mom to your children.
Right. There was no taking off. They were totally dependent on me. So I just had to get through each day the best way I could.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so did you work from home or you stayed? Like, what was that
No.
season like when because I mean, I can imagine with having 2 sets of twins that would there'd be a certain amount of challenges, right, from a work standpoint.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I had gone back to work when I had the boys, but then when I found out I was having another set of twins, my husband told me to stay at home.
Okay.
Okay. And then his mom moved in with us, and she became our live-in nanny. The grandma was the babysitter.
What a blessing.
Yeah, that was a huge blessing. So I stayed home until they were in elementary school, and I was ready to do something. So I became a substitute teacher.
Got it. Now, were you teaching, subbing at all levels?
All levels. All levels.
Wow. Okay, what's your favorite?
My favorite was high school.
Ah,
yes.
Right there, right there.
My favorite was high school. Not in the beginning. I was a little afraid of high school. Okay. And then I had an experience in elementary school, and I said, oh, this is too much. Where the teacher had these beautiful animals on the counter, the lizards, the fish, in aquariums, and it was this student's turn to feed them with the crickets, and she dropped the cricket keeper on the floor, and crickets went everywhere, and kids are screaming, and it took about 45 minutes to catch the crickets, put them back in. So after that, I called and I said, can you move me to high school? So
I am, oh my word. I'm just loving that. When I was getting my degree is in chemistry education.
Okay.
So I was in school ultimately to be a high school chemistry teacher.
Awesome.
But where I was working, getting my master's degree after that, I was in elementary schools a lot. And it's really where it galvanized that I was in the right place in high school.
Yes. I loved high school. Yes.
Now, it's interesting that you said that you were somewhat fearful of high school. Tell me about that. What thinking had you fearful as it relates to just high schoolers, that age?
I think it was because my kids had not reached that age yet.
Okay.
So I did not know what that looked like. I didn't know what the attitudes were going to be toward me. So I stayed there until my kids got to high school. Of course, they're all there at the same time. I have 4 kids at McKinney High at the same time. And then now I know their friends, and now their friends are coming to me. So now I understand the thinking of a teenager, what they go through, because now my kids are teenagers.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when I really began to love it.
There is so much value to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I hadn't thought about that until you just said it, that because I was working with high schoolers for so many years, by the time my boys got to high school, it didn't feel scary or because I'd already taught students at that level.
Exactly. And I was coming home to my kids who were now high schoolers. So the things that they were going through and talking to me about is what I had to take.
You had
to
experience.
School. I had experience.
You had experience.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
So fast forward. So you subbed for, just as your kids were going through school. At what point did you transition from substitute teaching to the truancy, position full time?
Well, it was unfortunately not a good experience. It was a life happened experience.
Okay.
I got a divorce.
Okay.
That was very tough because there was some emotional abuse there. And once summer of 2011 was my biggest challenging year.
Okay.
I had gotten divorced. I had to sell my house. My father passed away that same May. So during that summer, I had to sell my house. My dad passed away. I had to find a job. I'll now have no insurance, nor do my kids have insurance. And we had no income because now child support and alimony stopped. And now I have to figure out how to put 4 kids through college.
Wow.
So that was the summer of
2011,
where things really changed for me. And that's when my faith had to kick in.
Well, tell me about that because, I just think well, one, I'm just listening to you and I kind of feel the weight of that, right, in my chest as I'm
Yes.
thinking about the gravity of that and how it impacts us,
Yes.
not only as individuals, right, but as women and moms who also have such a sense of responsibility in terms of our children specifically. So how did your faith play into navigating that season?
Yeah, I think a friend of mine, I was on the Valley Creek board, I guess you can say, at that time. And I had lost probably 25 pounds in 1 month. And so the stress of what I was going through was showing. And she asked me what was going on. And I just cried out. And she said, I'm going to pick you up and take you to Bible study with me on Wednesdays. Okay. And so every Wednesday she would pick me up and take me to Bible study. And then that's when I got into the Word. And then that's when I had to realize I have to surrender. I cannot do this on my own. And that was life-changing.
Yeah, surrender is,
Yes.
it's so challenging and yet so pivotal, right, in our
Yes.
faith journey.
Right.
And so you're trying to walk by faith, not by sight.
Right.
Especially when by sight you're like, I don't know how this is going to work
I
out.
don't know how this is going to work out. I have no income coming in. I'm taking out payday loans I can't pay back.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't have a job, no insurance.
So how did
Yeah.
you end up getting the truancy job?
It started out, I started emailing people I personally knew within the school district, because you have to remember I was subbing at the time.
Yes.
So I sent email to one of the assistant principals who was also a neighbor who knew what I was going through.
Yes.
And he called the principal at Scott Johnson Middle School and told him my situation, and the principal called me in for an interview. And I was so broken at that time, the principal had no idea. I had to sell everything, my house and everything in it, including my clothes, down to the flatware in my kitchen, everything had to go.
Wow.
And when I went into that interview, I didn't even have my clothes were in storage because I didn't know where we were going to live. I have to sell my house, and then I have to find a place to live. So I went into the interview with my daughter's clothes on, daughter's shoes on, and he gave me the job. He told me what the income would be, and I was surprised because here I am, a college graduate, and I won't even say what the income is.
Right.
But it was a lot less than I expected. But because I needed the insurance for my kids and I took the job. And that was the job of being a campus liaison. Okay. And he told me, we need you to help these kids that are underserved and with no budget. Okay. So that's where I had to reach out to the community, and
Start making
connections. And that's where the connection started.
Wow. So how many years did you serve as campus liaison?
I was there from 2011 to COVID, 2020.
Wow.
And
So so you were making a lot less money. You did get the insurance. Okay, so I know that you're going to talk about your faith in this. What was happening with your kids going to college?
Okay, so that same summer, I had to go to college orientations and figure out how am I going to pay for this? Because I didn't want to be a dream killer, you know. They wanted to go to school, and I was like, you go, I'm going to figure it out. I worked 3 jobs. So that's when I started working at Globe Life at night.
Wow.
I started working at the soccer and football games on the weekends. And I'm working for McKinney ISD during the day. So 3 jobs because I'm going to make sure these kids get their college education. And one of them wanted to go to California to fashion school. I said, you go, we're going to figure this out. One went to Baylor.
Oh my word,
Yes.
Wanda.
Yes. So
These
one
are
went
not
to,
like
these are not
inexpensive places to
exactly.
go.
One went to Texas State and one went to the University of Arlington. So I had to take out some loans because I'm a divorced mom. I took out some loans. They were able to get a few grants. And then I saw God just take over. And he just took over. The one that went to California was able to get in a Jack in the Box commercial as soon as she got there. Within 1 month, she was in the Jack in the Box commercial.
Wow.
And the residuals from that commercial paid for the rest of her schooling.
What?
I mean, things were happening
That-
like that.
That is miraculous.
Seriously. I have testimonies for days.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Where God just really just took over and just, even my son that went to Baylor, there was no way I could pay for Baylor. And I was able to get him into Baylor, and they told him, if you just graduate within 3 years, within 4 years with a 3.0 or above, we'll forgive all of your loans. That happened. His loans were forgiven. Then I had his twin, left Texas State, went to the Navy, and came back. The Navy paid for all of his education. Then my daughter at UT Arlington was able to get a scholarship because she's a teacher now. She was able to get a scholarship. So God took over and just started doing miraculous things in our lives.
Truly, what a cool testimony of you chose to, by faith, say, go, I will figure it out. And ultimately, it sounds like God figured it out.
Yes, God figured it all out.
God figured it out. Wow.
Yes.
And what I'm thinking is how cool it is that you bring that experience into what you do as a truancy officer.
Exactly.
So I want to talk to that a little bit because I think that oftentimes people have wrong thinking. They don't really understand oftentimes what is at work in the lives of young people that are chronically absent from school. So speak a little bit about what you have seen in this position of the challenges that these students face.
Yes, there are a lot of challenges. There's a lot of depression, anxiety, and things that are happening now. And I have to come in. Now, mind you, I have the empathy now because of what I've gone through in my life. Okay? Before, I didn't understand it. My thinking was, what's so hard about just going to school? Our parents, it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Our
not
parents
an
are like, you're
option.
going. I don't care if you don't feel well. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So now I have the empathy to understand that when life happens, it could put you in a place that you didn't ask to be in.
Yeah.
And now you have to figure out how to navigate through that. Well, these are children. They're not. I was an adult.
Yeah.
Having to figure it out. These are children going through things that they should never at this age necessarily go through. And we're asking them to just figure it out and come to school at the same time.
And their brain is not even fully
developed. Their brain
developed.
is not there. They might not have the transportation. They might not have been able to eat breakfast. I'm working with one now. His 23-year-old brother is raising him.
Wow. Even that, I'm just thinking, it's the things that we don't even realize that we're taking for granted. Like, what is their transportation?
Right.
Where do they live? How do they get there? I mean, these are...
And then when they get there, they're expected, their minds to just shift on making A's or graduating or, when they are having, and then they have to go back home to whatever their reality is.
Wow. So in your work with these students to help them consistently come to school, what are some of the things that you have found incredibly helpful in assisting these students in that journey?
Give you a couple of examples. The one I'm speaking of that has the 23-year-old raising him, when I talked to him the other day, he just was not motivated, and he said those words. When he came through the truancy hearing, I'm listening to his story. His mother left him, no mention of father.
Wow.
He had no motivation whatsoever. So I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I got to talk to this kid and try to get through. And that's the $1 million question. How do you change that mindset of that child? Okay. So now it takes a village approach. Now I have to bring in other people who can speak life into him. So when I went to visit him at school, I introduced him to our communities and schools person. I also brought in a mentor from the community, a male role model that talked to him. He's doing so much better because sometimes he just needs to hear that I'm seen, I'm being seen,
Yeah.
somebody cares about me, and somebody's going to hold me accountable. So we have a lot of kids that are struggling, and I just want to let them know that they're being seen. I see you, and I'm here to help you.
That is so, I mean, it's just, well, it's first of all, it's heartbreaking just to think that you've got he's a teenager being raised by a 23-year-old who's
Yes.
barely themselves. I mean, I have a 24-year-old and a 22-year-old, so I know kind of where,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I can imagine if they were trying to parent a teenager right now,
Yes.
you know, and the challenges that would bring. But then also the emotional and mental struggles of your mom leaving, you know, I mean, it's just, there are so many aspects, but I like so much that you are still leveraging those community connections
Definitely.
to help you said, how do you change the mindset of a child? You certainly don't do it by yourself.
Right.
You're doing it with that village
Right.
of people. So if someone is listening, especially if they're here in the local McKinney area, how would they best find out how either they could be a mentor, they could be part of helping these children, these students to have a mindset shift?
Yes. We do have a REACH mentor program in the school district. So it's just a matter of calling the schools, whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school, and asking the registrar or the front desk person, how can I get involved? Put me in touch with the person that's over the mentoring program. One thing I was able to do, so blessed to do because of my connections with community nonprofits, McKinney ISD allowed me to have a resource fair. We just completed year 4 where we brought in over 60 nonprofits. We had it at the football stadium.
Yes.
And we brought in about 1,200 people. And I was able to get sponsors for the event and the resources from the community involved anything from homeless connections to food insecurities to mental health resources were all in one place for our families
That's awesome.
too. Yeah, so I had that blessing of I'm just glad I have a boss now that allowed me to do that.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So if you are listening and you are in the local area, look at how you can get involved in making a difference in these students' lives. Well, I always appreciate being able to ask every single guest why you think it's important to cultivate thinking that matters.
Because it's so important, because we don't know the situations that people come from or are in at the moment. So it's so important to care. First of all, be kind, because we have no idea what a person's going through. Everything, I look at my situation, everything looks so perfect. You know, I'm in this perfect house and we're making good money at the time, and then boom, the bottom drops out. So at any given time, a lot of people aren't in the situation because they want to be. You know, a lot of time life just happens.
Right.
And then they're put into the situation. And these kids are put into the situation because of what their parents are going through. They didn't ask to be there, okay? But when you have people in the community that just show up and hold those kids accountable and show them that I see you, I care about you, I'm here for you, I'm here to help you take the next step. It doesn't have to be college. It has to be, what we do is, I like to find out, what is it you like to do? That's the question Everybody likes to do something. Everybody has something that makes them happy. What is it that makes you happy? You like welding? Okay, let's get this diploma so that I can help you go
To Collin College
Collin
and
County.
yeah.
We have people that give you internships, that have scholarships available.
Yeah,
So
I
just
love it.
giving them something to hope for.
Yes. There is something incredibly powerful to having hope and that things can be different
Yes.
and better.
Yes.
I love that. Thinking that matters, that you care, that you're kind, and that you truly take the time to see people.
Yes.
In your case, you're seeing young people.
Yes.
But really, no matter where we are, no matter with whom we're engaging, it's really taking a moment to say, I see you.
Right.
So incredibly powerful.
Yes.
I am so thankful for you, Wanda,
Thank
and
you.
knowing more about your story. Okay, how old are the twins now?
They're 33 and 31.
Oh my word.
Yes. They all
Amazing.
graduated from college.
Yes.
And they all have their own careers now.
Which is such a blessing. It has
Yes.
been such a joy to have you on
Thank you.
the podcast. I'm so grateful for you. Listen, how can they connect if they want to connect with you or communicate with you? What's the best way to do that?
I'm on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
I'm on Facebook under Wanda Johnson.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
And McKinney ISD.
Awesome.
W. Johnson at McKinneyISD.net.
I love it. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Well, remember that whether, as we've heard from Wanda today, you go from Fortune 500 to having two sets of twins, to substitute teaching, to being in a very crucial truancy role, no matter where you find yourself, you can take the time to show that you care, be kind, and to really take a moment to see the person that's in front of you. We do that by cultivating thinking that matters, because when you cultivate thinking that matters, you can live a life, you can build a business, you can make a difference that matters.